Okay, thank you very much. My name is Artur Podzorski. I'm Director of Sales for Telos Alliance. And Telos Alliance is a company from US based in Cleveland, and I'm taking care of so-called Eastern Hemisphere, which means pretty much everything except Americas. And today I want to talk to you about our intercom and why it's so, let's say, flexible whenever you plan to do any kind of remote production. First of all, how many of you have experience with intercom already? You know the brands like Riddle, Clearcom, RTS, whatever, you know them, right? So, you know, all of them are using one thing together that's common for them, is a matrix. This is exactly the part we don't need at all. We don't need the matrix. So, you can pretty much throw away this thing. And this helps a lot with any kind of remote production. Why? First of all, I wanted to say how we did it. We created pretty much a very highly scalable and distributed intelligence model. So, which means we have, of course, things like typical, let's say for the intercom, means we have panels, we have belt packs, we have things like this. But the difference between us and the whole competition is that in our panels, we have a DSP, digital signal processor, which means we have pretty much a matrix by itself in every panel. Of course, it means the more panel you have, the more performant, the more powerful the whole matrix or the whole system becomes. We have both physical and also virtual panels. About the virtual panels, I'll talk in a few minutes. The UI is very, very simple. You'll see it in a practical demonstration. You can pretty much create a whole system within 10 minutes of training. It's very, very simple, and you can do it really easily. Additionally, we have a very resilient architecture, which means because we do not have any central point, we can create a system that doesn't have even one single point of failure. Additionally, if you use the 2022-7, so that means redundant streaming, we can have a system connected to two switches simultaneously. That means really a complete system that cannot fail. Inside of the system, using AES67 or 702110-30 immediately, which means there is no difference between contribution and communication. We use 24 bits, 48 kilohertz sound. This is broadcast quality. So you can pretty much take a panel, connect a good microphone to it, and you can do voiceover, you can do commentary, you can do whatever you want. Additionally, on top of it, we have a voice over IP connectivity, so-called link, Infinity Link. We use Opus codec to do it, so that means this is exactly the way how we can bridge the internet and how we can create, let's say, the remote locations. We are multi-site capable, so which means it's very easy to have, let's say, a couple of panels in Prague, another panels somewhere else in Bratislava, for example, another panels in London. You can connect them via the internet, and they will work simply as one big system. And of course, because we have no central matrix, the total cost of ownership is much, much lower. Additional benefits. Pretty much everything is plug and play. So you just take the panels, connect them to the switch, that's it. They will be auto-discovered. It's very easy to expand the system. Like, let's say, with the other companies. If you have a matrix, let's say with 16 ports, if you fill up the matrix, if you have no space, what do you do? Either a second matrix or maybe exchange to a bigger matrix, something like this. In our case, no, we don't have any limitations. You can have pretty much as many panels, as many IP addresses you have in the network, which means buy another panel connected to the switch, that's it. We have no limits. You can go into thousands if you wish. We have no limits in numbers of groups, party lines, IFBs, and there is no license to it. You can have as many as you want. Unlimited AES67 4-wire connectivity. So you can have, let's say, another sources like analog, AES3, whatever. You can connect to the system via converters, no problem. There is no limit. All the control is happening via HTML5. So just take a browser, and you can control the whole system, modify it. We claim we are very friendly and responsive manufacturer, which means if you have some special need that needs some, let's say, programming, adjusting, whatever, we'll be very happy to do it. We have a lot of requests put in our pipeline, so a lot of things that are inside of Infinity came simply from our customers. And especially, the whole technology we're using is really proven. The biggest system we use is here in Prague. It's Radio Free Europe. We're running it for 9 years now. They have 60 studios, and they're using 12,000 channels. So this technology works. We know it. So this is some small example of our portfolio. So as you see, we have the, let's say, typical panels. We have the expansion panels. We have the belt packs. We have the desktops. On top of it, we have also virtual panels. And I will talk about them, as I said, a little bit later. So this is a better picture of those virtual panels. You can have it on the, let's say, on the PC, on the tablet. You can have it as an app on the phone. So this is the way how you connect the hardware panels. You just take the panels, take the switch, that's it. You don't need anything else. This is done within minutes. On top of it, you need some PC, some typical PC with Windows, nothing special, where you install the configuration software. And off you go. This is a system that you can assemble within minutes. This is, let's say, a very typical example of a studio. On the left, you have the panels. Then you have the AES67 network. On the right, you have different devices. This black box, called X-Node, this is our converter from AES67 to pretty much anything you need, like analog, AES3, SDI, whatever. So if you have any kind of legacy equipment, you can easily connect it to it. Another example, if you have let's say, a third-party intercom. You can also connect to us via either the X-Node or directly via A67. So which means we can easily coexist with anything that you own already. Inside, as I told you before, we have a very special technology called Link, which means this technology allows you to create kind of trunks or maybe VPNs, you can call it differently, from point to point. And we can have those links inside of every panel, up to 8. Even if in the belt pack, we can have 2 links. And on top of it, this silver unit, this is the gateway that allows you up to 16 links. So this means 16 connections anywhere into the world. So which makes such configuration very, very simple. On the left, bottom left, you could see for example, your Prague main studio. On the right, this could be, let's say, I don't know, Bratislava. But at the very same time, you can take simply the belt pack, go home, connect it to your home router, and from home, you are part of the intercom. All you need to do is to configure the belt pack, simply type in the IP address of your main facility, and you are part of the whole intercom. So you can do pretty much the production from home or from anywhere else in the world that you want. This is the configuration software that we have. So on top left, we have all the devices. So they have different shapes, which means there are different types. So in this case, we have, for example, the master panels. We have the belt packs that are shaped a little bit like the hamburgers, and so on. If you select a panel, you will see immediately all the buttons below. So this is the director panel. I see immediately all the buttons from this panel. And now, if I wanted, in this case, for example, to make a combination of, let's say, the configuration of them, I select, let's say, the director panel, then I take the producer panel, and I simply drag and drop it on the empty position. That's it. You've done the configuration of them. So you connected 2 panels together. Of course, I have to do this opposite, so that means from producer, I have to drag the director panel. But it's really that simple. Top right, we have all the what we call 4 wires. So which means these are pretty much all the audio channels that are available in the whole network. This can be pretty much anything. This can be AES67. This can be also Dante, assuming it's running in AES67 mode. We do not support the classical Dante because they use a different PTP clock. They use PTP version 1, we use PTP version 2, so they're not compatible. And on the bottom right, you see all the typical things you require from a typical intercom. That means party lines, IFBs, groups. And as I said before, there are no limits to it. There are also no limits of the members, let's say, of the party line. It's so simple. And some example systems. This is a typical small TV studio. On the left, you see all the panels, you see the belt packs, you see the cameras. On the right, in this case, you see pretty much all the legacy devices. that connect, for example, via analog or AS3, or maybe also via AS67, like, for example, our telephone hybrids that you can use with the whole intercom system to, let's say, to talk to the telephone callers, to listen to the telephone callers, and also to talk to some remote locations, like on the bottom right. This would be an example of a larger system. Of course, much more panels, but yet they still can connect to pretty much everything you have in your facility. So that means any kind of audio mixer, any kind of, let's say, IFBs, any kind of wireless, we speak to everything. And this is a picture. I will explain also a little bit later about it, because there we see a combination of hardware panels, but also with the VIP. In this case, you can talk both systems as if they would be one system. That means you can have a panel on your phone or in computer, and you can talk to the hardware panels and back. And in this case, we show you how we, let's say, work with Grass Valley amp. Sorry to the Vizrt guys, but Grass Valley is also the partner of us. But I mentioned Vizrt, of course, now. So Vizrt is one of our partners, so we have a few more of them. So first of all, our first partner was Grass Valley with AMP. Then it was Vizrt. Then we have Panasonic with the Kairos. We have Ross Video as our partner. And all of those companies have chosen Infinity, I think, for one reason, because there's pretty much nothing else on the market that can do what we can do. And we are, of course, very proud of it. As far as I know, the competition tries to catch up, but I think it will take years until they're so far like we are now. And on the left, you see some, let's say, some customers of ours. And the funny thing is, we have a lot of customers not only in broadcast, but also beyond broadcast. And currently, for the hardware, our biggest customer is Korean aerospace industries. And I think they use 130 panels. They are connected via the RF antennas to the pilots, so they're talking to the real pilots in the planes that are doing the training. Talking about remote productions, I think that was one of our very first examples of remote production, and it's happened in Stockley Park in London. And I think this project was done 5 years ago. In this case, on the left, we had the main studio. On the right, we have 10 stadiums. And all of the stadiums are connected via pretty much a VLAN. So that means we can run full AS67 through it. So on the stadiums, you have just the cameraman with the belt packs. On the left, you have your production studio. But the good thing was the customer, he owned already a Riddle system. So in this case, Infinity was used as an expansion to Riddle. So we talk simply to the Riddle artist frame via AS67. In this case, it means people that are sitting in front of Riddle panels, they can talk through Infinity to the cameraman in the field. And of course, the other way around. So that means if you, let's say, would decide for Infinity, it doesn't mean you would have, let's say, 2 separate systems. No, you can connect them together. So you can use Infinity, let's say, to enhance the possibilities of your current system. Of course, you can replace your current system, nothing against it. But if you don't want to do it yet, you can simply enhance it by Infinity. And this is the main clue of our system, the virtual intercom. So what is it? Are you maybe familiar with the technology called containers or Docker, something like this? Okay. So this technology means simply you can see a container like a small virtual machine. So you take a Linux operating system and you install multiple of those virtual machines on top of it. So which means each of these containers can run a separate code, independent code. In this case, we have simply taken all the software from the hardware panels. We've put it into containers. So which means one container is one panel. The beauty of the system is it's exactly the same functionality like the hardware panels. There's absolutely no difference. That's number one. Number two, we can use it on both, let's say, hardware servers, but also in the cloud. It's exactly the same software. There is no difference. In this case, you can, well, we call it the complete reimagining of the Infinity Intercom platform, because suddenly you can use pretty much everything you use for every day for intercom. So you can have a computer, you can have a tablet, you can have a phone that can be used as a, let's say, typical belt pack with infinite range. So all of these virtual panels are running on Linux server. If you have Amazon Cloud, it's still Linux underneath it. We virtualized pretty much everything. So that means we virtualized also the dashboard, so the configuration software. We virtualized the link codecs, so that means you can easily speak from any hardware panels to the cloud and back. We virtualized authentication, licensing, server management, uptime metrics, pretty much everything, and you can access those devices also by HTML5. Inside, to talk between the panels, we use WebRTC. This is very important because WebRTC has a very good audio quality, first of all, and of course it can be encrypted, so it's very, very safe. And additionally, we can talk via NDI. This is exactly the way we connect, for example, to Vizrt. So the products. So you can scale pretty much to a system of any size. The biggest system right now we have in France, 128 panels, but it seems it will be scaled up pretty soon to 512 panels. Virtual, of course. So usually we use one-time buyout, so there is no subscription. You buy the license, it's yours. So that's it. We do not charge any additional fees afterwards. You bought it, it's yours, it's working always. We have different sizes of panels, 4, 8, 16, and 36. Whereas 4 and 8 panels we found to be the best to work with the phones. We have inside 16-channel virtual gateway. So that means you have the 16 links that are free of charge. Additionally, if you are familiar maybe with the Elgato Stream Deck, you can also use the Stream Deck to control the virtual panels. So if you have the virtual panel running on your computer, let's say in a browser, but you still need to feel the physical buttons, you can use a Stream Deck to do it. And we have API, so we can support any kind of third-party systems, so we can be controlled by pretty much anyone. In this case, we have the native integration with AMP, with Vizrt, and with some else. So the app that we provide for the phones, it can be used pretty much on anything. So you can use it for iOS, you can use it for Android. It's free to download, to be downloaded from Google Play or App Store. And this app connects to a panel that's running in the cloud or on the server. So, of course, we support any size of the panels. We have two types of operation, but I will show you a little bit later how it works. We can also adjust the bitrate, so which means if you have very lousy internet connection, we can go down up to, I think, 20 kilobit. It's maybe not exactly the broadcast quality, but it will be good enough to be understood and to understand. And we have the same WebRTC for them as for the VIP panels. So this is an example of so-called invitation. So we have this virtual panel management system. If I want someone to use a panel, I simply go into this management system, I type in the address, I press send. So this is exactly what you would receive. You would receive simply such an email. Then you have the possibility to join via web browser or via the mobile app, assuming you installed it. So this is the next screen. Whatever you have chosen, this is the next screen. You press connect. Then you have the possibility to select, for example, if you have multiple speakers, multiple microphones, you can select some of them, or you can go to so-called auto mode. Let's say the default will be selected. And afterwards, if everything's fine, you are arriving at this screen. So this is pretty much a virtual panel on your phone. And from this phone, you can talk to anything that's configured with the panel, to the hardware panels, to another virtual panels. So it's up to you. So we support pretty much everything that has HTML5. And sound, of course, in this case. We tested it on several devices. We tested it even on Raspberry Pi, no problem. I connected my phone to a, I have a Skoda, of course. I've connected to my car. I could talk to another users from my car, very easy. And this example from the Elgato Stream Deck. So if you're used to it, it's very easy. Typical deployment options. So one of them would be to have a system in the cloud. So in this case, it's unimportant if it's Amazon, AWS, or Google Cloud, or any kind of private cloud, or Microsoft Azure. It's up to you. So this would look like this. So you have the server simply running in the cloud. To connect to anything else in the cloud, you can use either NDI or Opus codec. On the bottom left, you see you would have, let's say, your headquarter. To connect to the cloud, you need something to convert AS67 to link. So in this case, as an example, this will be this gateway. This would allow you to have 16 independent connections into the cloud. You can use them as you want because everything inside, let's say, the facility is shared. So if you have one, let's say, link to the cloud, this link can be used by any of the panels, by all of the panels simultaneously. It's up to you. Another example. In this case, you have let's say the typical intercom, our intercom, of course, on site. In this case, you can connect also, let's say, via this gateway, or you could have the links built into the panels directly. It's up to you. A lot of customers prefer to have a separate unit because, well, the panels are being used, maybe someone spills coffee on them, and then you have suddenly no connection to the world. This is an example of us working together with AMP. So they are running in the cloud, we are running in the cloud, so we're connecting to them natively via NDI. Okay, AMP, sorry guys. This is another example showing also, for example, us working in the cloud with some gateway beneath. And in this case, you could have any kind of third-party intercom. Simply convert whatever you have in audio to AS67, maybe via our X nodes, like this, and then you can talk to our cloud, no problem. So this is the picture with Viz Vector Plus or Viz Now. So this is exactly the same way we connect to them via NDI, and as far as I know, we have a lot of very successful deployments already in the world. So another example, if you would have on-prem server. So this is the server that you would have in your own facility. In this case, it would be very simple because for the server, there is no difference if it talks to the hardware or software panels. In this case, you can exchange all the buttons between hardware and software as far as you want. So if you have any kind of, let's say, venue, if you have any kind of sports event, you can be, let's say, on the stadium together with the hardware panels, with software panels, with any mix of it, and the most important, with any number of those. So there is absolutely no limit. And we had already a lot of quite successful, I have to say, proof of concepts around the world. One of them, even in Czech Republic recently, everything went very, very smoothly. So this is the same example, but with the intercom on site. So as I said, there is no difference for the system. And yeah, one of the examples that we did recently, I think in Texas, somewhere a few months ago, and the same with the, let's say, with the virtual intercoms. So we have a little bit time, so I wanted to show you simply the real system, how it works. Okay. So this is a system that's running right now in AWS cloud in North Ireland. So you see on the top, I have different panels, right? If I press a panel, I see immediately, let's say, the buttons beneath. So let's say I select a desktop panel. I want to connect it, let's say, to this whatever, panel 4. All I need to do, select panel 4, drag it into empty position, that's it. And exactly the other way around, select panel 4, take the desktop, that's it. You made a connection. You can immediately, and this is very true for both virtual but also the hardware panels, you can remote into them. So if you remote into them, you see everything that's going on. Oh, there's a button flashing. If I press the upper part, I don't know. Hey, come on. Okay, it seems I'm playing right now through the beamer, which doesn't have any speaker. So let me change my my audio source. Yep, I don't know why it's selected. So this would be my speaker. So this music coming from US on the intercom with 128 kilobit only. If I would have good speakers, you would hear the great quality. But anyway, whatever happens here happens pretty much in real time. So you see, I have the panel 4 on the top. Now, if I want to add another panel, let's say panel 5, this is my desktop, yes. Okay, let's take the panel 5, again, remote. You see, the panel 5 appeared immediately. So you can have the complete intercom within seconds. And the way I would, for example, want to use the intercom, let's say I take the panel 4. If I want someone to use this panel, all I need to do is select the server, go to manage. This is the beacon. This is our management software. OK, this would be the correct password. Now that's it. So these are all the panels you would see. And let's say I want to give someone the panel number 5. So I put it a name to it. I could send this as an email address, but I don't need to. In this case, I'm selecting not to send as an address. Simply create invite. OK, I created so-called link. And this would be this link. It looks like this. And if I simply copy it to the clipboard, if I send it via anything, email, I don't know, Facebook, whatever. If I open it now, come on, sorry. If I open it now in new browser, redirecting, connect, this is my panel. In this way, you can have pretty much an intercom that would be worldwide, that could be immediate. You could send this link to anyone, and according to the configuration, you could have as many people talking to you at any time, wherever you want, from anywhere. Additionally, you could maybe think of this system as a possible disaster recovery system, which means you have, let's say, a production going on, right? What happens if your matrix dies? You have no production. In this case, it could be kind of a backup system. It could be on your server. It could be, let's say, on the cloud. Just spin it up, start it, 30 seconds, you press one button, and all of the panels would be sent to the proper addresses, which means within 1 minute, you have a working system again, because usually everyone who's working with the production has some kind of computer, tablet, or phone next to them. So within 1 minute, you could be running the whole production again. So, like my colleagues offered before, whenever you have any kind of questions, I'm all the day here, so approach me, talk to me. This demo that we have in the cloud, we're very happy to share with you, so you can test it by yourself, how it works. Our colleagues here have, I think they will have even tomorrow, the hardware panels. They are currently stuck at the customs. So you can test a complete system, and you can, let's say, convince yourself why it's so future-proof. Thank you very much.